Ready to hit the pause button on your parenting fails? Ready to feel better about your parenting? Welcome to Parenting Pause, the podcast, where all of you is welcome. I'm Leslie Potter, the founder of the Pure Joy Way, a mother, a parent coach, and a fellow traveler on this journey to wake up in our parenting. And I believe together we can make this a better world for ourselves and our kiddos. I truly wanted to be of service to my daughter and to her growth and to her development. And I was trying so incredibly hard as a parent, and I imagine most of you are too if you're listening to this podcast. I can only imagine that there's some areas that you want to learn about and grow in, and I just totally applaud you and applaud myself. As I say, I don't think my mom would have ever been listening to a podcast like this to learn more about herself and to know what the dynamic was. And so it was really important to me to be in service to my daughter and, supporting her. And I thought I was helping her and I thought I was teaching her. And yet what I found out is that was not the greatest gift I could give my daughter. The greatest gift I could give her was to see her over and over again in new light, not to keep categorizing her. I remember when she was young, I used to say, oh, my daughter never wears skirts. And then sure enough, the next day, she would have a skirt on, right? And it was like, or, oh, my daughter is angry. Whatever I would see her as, once I had labeled her, it was like it stuck in my mind. It was almost like I had a pair of glasses that was very clean and innocent when I first received my daughter. I'll never, ever forget that moment. I remember looking in the mirror, holding her, and the two of us looking in that mirror and going, oh my gosh, this is the most right thing, not right or wrong, but just like the most right on a soul level thing I had ever done in my life, because I could see through the eyes of innocence and the eyes of love the gift I was giving her and she was giving me just by being with each other in each other's presence. And yet that began to change because I began to see her and label her and judge her in a lot of ways. And each time I did, it was like the glasses started getting a little foggier. And I started seeing through the labels. I started seeing through the judgment. And then it was almost as if I wanted her to, be helpless so that I could feel helpful. I still wanted to be in service. And I'll never forget, so many people said to me, what a noble act of humanity that you adopted your daughter. And it became very clear that the noble act of humanity was on her part. For I have grown more than I've ever grown in my life. I've found out more about myself. And so if there's any deep service, I feel it's on my daughter's part. And when I receive that and take that in, I realize that the greatest gift I give her is seeing her for who she is, not through my clouded glasses. And it's really hard because the conditioning is so great. The comparison is so great in our culture. The anxiety inside of me and the division inside of me and the places that I don't like in myself is so great. And I can project that out onto my daughter. She becomes the location of that. And then I can not like it outside, label it outside, treat it in ways that I don't want to, or convince myself that I'm helping or fixing or changing for the good, that I am in great service to her and to others. And yet the deeper truth is seeing myself in the deepest innocence and kindness allows me to look through those glasses over and over and over again. So I'm going to give you a little practice this week. I like those practices. I want you to take one of your children or your partner or someone that irritates you a bit and that you have a lot of labels on, that you see them through the eyes of their difficulties, or you've compared them, or you have this idea that they should be different. You have a judgment on their character or on the traits that they exhibit. And just do what you can this week to see them in their core vulnerability, their core innocence, underneath your labels, underneath your vision. So it may require you to take off those glasses of all those many times that you've seen. Remember, every time you see it, another little cloud comes. And to take off those glasses and to really see if you can see that innocence and beauty. Often I find we see it when our children are asleep, which is so crazy. But, the innocence when they're sleeping, and we see the beauty of their being. So if you have that, do that tonight. And then when they wake up, see if you can continue to see through that innocence, because we all want to be seen. That is such a beautiful thing, to be seen in our beauty, not to be seen for our disabilities or our neurosis or our difficulties, our anxiety, or whatever we're seeing through. Just this week, see if you're willing to continue to see yourself first, and then your child, and the beautiful innocence of your being through those clear, clear glasses that you see like a young child in a way. Each time you see them, when your child wakes up, see if you're willing to see them for the first time. Just as if you did when they were born and you saw them for the very first time. And just to experience that wonder and that awe and that delight. I'll never forget that moment when I saw my daughter for the first time. It was just a deep moment of awe that I got to be with this human for the rest of my life. Thank you for listening to this episode of Parenting Paused. If you enjoyed the episode, do me a favor and share it with your mama friends. You can also leave a review wherever you listen, which will support getting the Pure Joy message out. Come on over to the Pure Joy Parenting Practice Facebook page or join me on Instagram to hear more. And don't forget to download your free copy of the Safe Seat course on the Pure Joy website. And while there, check out the offerings page to go deeper in the Pure Joy work.